BitTensor is the latest crypto AI
disappointment.
It's the new shiny thing in artificial intelligence, and some numbers do look nice. There are almost 1,000 miners, more than 100 validators, tokenomics that resemble bitcoins, even a white paper that pretty much looks like bitcoins. But not everything that shines is gold, not everything here is sunshine and rainbows. For example, when we test out the AI applications of BitTensor, they're all very early stage, they're all pretty much useless right now. Most of the features don't work, and the activity on GitHub, where you can see how many code changes are being made, it's pretty much at 0 right now. But let's also look at the team. Let's have a look at what supporters say when they comment on bearish videos on BitTensor. And let's have a look at the token price development relative to Bitcoin. So here's the first thing I didn't understand. I simply wanted to find out what's the current market cap of BitTensor. A very straightforward metric, apparently. It's price times circulating supply. On the website, apparently, we've got a market cap of 264 million. CoinMarketCap shows a self-reported, apparently, market cap of 207 million. So when it's self-reported anyways, why don't those numbers match? Next thing that's a bit odd, where we can see there's not a lot of maintenance being made, is when we go to the Chain Explorer link over here, again on CoinMarketCap, it's a dead website. There is another link on the website, on the official BitTensor website, that shows us a Chain Explorer. We'll go into this later, but still it doesn't shine the best light on the project if they can't even fix that. And I've seen exactly that comment on another YouTube video before. And I guess some people at the team might have watched that video. They still haven't changed that link. But I'm not here just to bash on the project. I also want to show
the positive side.
I want to make this as balanced as possible, as objective as possible, while still showing my own opinion. I simply just want to show you the facts. And part of that is tokenomics, or token inflation, which has been inspired by Bitcoin. Now, where does the newly created BitTensor tokens go to? Currently, only 25% of BitTensor tokens are circulating. The rest will be added due to inflation. And the inflation goes to miners and validators. So there's a difference here to Bitcoin, right? In Bitcoin, you've got proof of work mining, and all of the new rewards go to the miners, the person that solves the puzzle. All the other computing power is pretty much thrown away. So the argument by the BitTensor team is that this is wasted computing power, and they can use that computing power to fuel machine learning systems. Half of the inflation of TAO tokens, half of the newly issued TAO tokens go to the people that do the actual computation that help support machine learning algorithms. So in the BitTensor project, you're not throwing away the computing power, you're using this to fuel AI, to fuel machine learning. The other half of the inflation goes to stakers. So when you buy the TAO token, you can delegate it away and you can then earn rewards for simply just holding the token. Similar to Cardano, for example. Now, different to Cardano, those APYs are way larger because we are dealing here with an early project. Currently, we get 24 or 29% on our holdings, depending on whether you're staking or whether you're validating. Now, one number that I find interesting is this here. 87% apparently of all the TAO tokens are currently staked. Some people might say this is a good thing because it shows how much people have conviction in the cryptocurrency. I personally see this as a bad thing, because what is staking really? Staking is nothing else but postponing supply. So you're currently not selling your token, you're rather locking it up, you're currently rather staking it in order to then sell more in the future. At some point you want to sell it, right? The more there's currently staked, the more pent up supply there currently is. We have seen something very similar with Pancake, for example. The Pancake Swap Exchange issued a token and they introduced a 1-year lock-up staking program. You locked up your Cake tokens for 1 year, and after a year you got roughly 50-60% more of the token back. Now, what happened after 1 year when all the people got their tokens back? The price completely collapsed. So you do not want to invest in a token that currently has a lot of staked supply. It's very, very dangerous. But there are positives. For example, it is way easier to set up a miner for BitTensor than it is, for example, for Bitcoin. The instructions here are very, very easy to follow. You simply just have to run a few Python scripts and then install this on a Linux machine, for example. Still, I do get a bit of an iffy feeling. BitTensor really wants to be associated with Bitcoin. That's why they make their white paper look like Bitcoins. This here is BitTensor, this here is Bitcoin. And in the end, those two projects are completely different from one another, right? Bitcoin wants to be a store of value, maybe a peer-to-peer cash system. BitTensor tries to be a platform for machine learning computing power. Let's have a look at the applications. The very first application we get greeted with is Hull. So we go to the website, we get started, and we get all kinds of platforms that we can use this with. So apparently this is a personal AI assistant, probably similar to ChatGPT. Once we go here to get started, most of those platforms don't work. It's all coming soon. You click on pretty much anything, it's coming soon. There's only one where it might work, and that's on Discord. I tried to use it in Discord, it did not work. What about this application here? ReplyTensor, AI generated responses on Twitter by BitTensor. We click on the link, and apparently you can tag this account in any tweet and you get a response. So of course I tried teasing it a little bit, give me 5 reasons not to buy the TAO token. I did not get a reply. Maybe I was overloading the AI with such a hard question. The technology
does not work.
And staying with Twitter, there are a few other things that are a bit iffy. For example, the Open Tensor Foundation, which apparently underpins this whole BitTensor project, has 89,000 followers, roughly. The project itself only has 3,500 followers. How is this possible? The activity around GitHub is also pretty much at zero, as already mentioned in the beginning. Almost no code commits since June of this year. There were initially quite a few contributors, more than 100 at a time. But yeah, there isn't much added or removed anymore. So yeah, I understand. BitTensor is still very early. But when you're that early as a project, you need to use momentum in your favor. If momentum dies down, you've got a problem. But let's look at the team, and maybe the team can turn things around. So all we gotta do for that is look at LinkedIn and search for BitTensor. BitTensor has currently 16 employees, and they are spread all around the world. Feel free to check out if you're impressed by those profiles. I personally am not very impressed. There are students, there are machine learning engineers, but even the founder doesn't show his face on LinkedIn. I also couldn't find out the author of the white paper, Yuma Rao. Maybe that's also a pseudonym similar to Satoshi Nakamoto trying to carbon copy everything one-on-one with Bitcoin to be associated with Bitcoin. But yeah, Ala S apparently is the founder of BitTensor. And here are all the individual profiles. Feel free to check them out yourself. Nothing that I find particularly impressive. Now, when you make a critical video like this on a cryptocurrency, then very often in the comments you find the warriors, the keyboard warriors that try to defend their investment. And something very similar happened for a fellow YouTuber. He wasn't a fan of BitTensor either, but let's have a look at what the people say that like the project. Are there any interesting arguments? This won't age well. Haha, I'm saving this video. TAO is one of the best crypto projects to come out of this bear market. They actually have a working product, which I doubt. And you didn't take a minute to understand how the product works. Anyone who researches crypto projects this way will lose a lot of money. My guy is absolutely brainless. It's just funny at this point. Jim Cramer is in the house. Haha, so funny, Jerry. So maybe the analysis wasn't as much in depth, but the problem is that the people that support the project, they don't give concrete evidence why it would make sense to buy into this project. I haven't seen an application that works well. I haven't seen tokenomics that are particularly impressive. I haven't seen a team that I like. And when we compare this historically versus the Bitcoin price, then all we have so far is an underperformance of 56%. There's only one reason why I could imagine the price of BitTensor could go up. And that's the listing of the token on other exchanges. Because currently you can't trade it in many places. You can only get it on Gate.io, on BitGet, on Maxi, and on Bitmart. If Binance or Coinbase suddenly starts listing the TAO token, then this could create a temporary rally of 20–30%. But beyond that, I'm not so sure. I personally stay away from the project, but please, if you like BitTensor, then let us all know the specific reasons down in the comments. Don't just say this won't age well. Say why BitTensor is a good investment. Try to convince us, because then we can potentially do more research and we are open to changing our minds. I've changed my mind plenty of times in crypto and I'm not always right. Feel free to subscribe if you appreciate honest crypto reviews like this that are not just pure shilling trying to sell you something. A like would be very much appreciated as well.